Welcome to another episode of Soul Filling. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Kobe.
And today we are talking about a topic that we all need, vibrating higher. And we're going to explain to you exactly what that means. Let me turn to our residential spiritual person, Jasmine Charles.
Oh, yeah. Yes. So vibrate higher. What exactly does vibrate higher mean? So when you think about the word vibrate higher, just think about it as being at a state of a higher vibration. And when I looked on Google, our trusted source, Google, it basically stated that it's to strive to it says to strive to become the best self and to come from a place of self-love, compassion, and excitement for life. So vibrate higher.
Excitement for life. It makes me think about just knowing that your life is going to be great. Because if you have the excitement for life, that means that things are going to turn out good. And so
yes.
A lot of people aren't excited for life because they're like, oh, it's just another day. I got to go to this job or blah, 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 whatever they're thinking in their heads. And so I think that's one of the key things is having an excitement for life. And how do you get an excitement for life? And doing the things to get you excitement for life is what I'm believing will vibrate you higher. So now that we got the definition, we need to check y'all vibration levels. Where they been at?
Where they been? Oh, for me personally, if I'm just speaking from a place of transparency and being honest, my vibrations, they fluctuate. They've been up, they've been down. I know if I think about yesterday, they were really, really low. And even on, what day was that? Saturday, they were even low as well. I was like, I'm constantly having these just like moments in time where I feel like I'm just really, really down. And of course I can definitely say it has a lot of cause from just things I've been going through in my personal life. Just to share a couple things, like just take care of my mom. I just found out that I told you one of my aunts in Louisiana, she was affected by the coronavirus, and she wasn't doing well, and she was put on life support, and then we just found out that she passed away 2 days ago. So it's just been really dealing with, being there for my family but not being there for my family, because now since that has happened, everyone is now causing our family to be very, 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 very cautious, hyper cautious, to the extent like they're like, we don't want to even visit one another at all. So, and mainly my concern has been my grandmother, because this was her sister. And so it's her younger sister at that. And so it's just like, I really just am more so concerned about my grandmother and, all my family. But just vibrations, you asked, that's being real with you and the soulmates out there. Like, it's just been a roller coaster ride. And just other things that are going on. But yeah, I'll tell y'all probably later. But yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that, Jazz. That's crazy, because you really did put it into perspective when you say your grandma's sister. Because, sometimes we think far off, like your great aunt. But when you say like your grandma's sister, like we know your grandma.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and we've known her, like the actual aunt, and I'm just thinking more so because I was talking to I consider him my brother, but y'all know him, my cousin Dominique.
Yeah.
Because he was the one who, in fact, called me and told me the news. And when he called me, he was just like, he was really sad as well, because, you know, we're just really close with our family. Mm-hmm. And so he was just like, I feel like crying. I was like, me too. And then he's like, you know, I can't, like, just to say, like, the coronavirus have, like, taken one of our personal family members. And I was just like, yeah, it's crazy. And I was like, and then we started talking about our grandmother, and we don't want her to have a lot of stress. And, you know, we were saying, like, you know, this is someone that's as close to grandma as you and I are. And I was talking about me and Dominique, like, because he's like my brother. And so he was like, you know, their relationship is like a sibling relationship. And so I was just like, I can't even imagine, you know, what she's going through and things like that. So, you know, just trying to be there for everyone in my family and things of that nature.
Yeah.
But yeah. And that's hard because, you know, you're unable, because of the situation, you're unable to be there for your family members, to actually hold them, hug them, kiss them. And, you know, so that connection part is definitely hard when trying to deal with this situation. So I am definitely praying for you, Jazz, and praying for your family.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But yeah.
That's tough.
But yeah, vibrations are definitely, for me, situational. But overall, I've been waking up every day with a different motivation. You know, I think when I first started the quarantine, it was like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to have a schedule, and I'm going to do this every morning. And this, you know, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., 10 to 12, 12 to 2, you know, breaking my day off into times. And just realistically, it just hasn't worked that way. And I'm okay with that. Like, I am okay with that. And I just know that when I go to sleep, I'm like, okay, what is the goal for tomorrow? What do I want to get accomplished? What do I have a to-do list versus this itemized day that I'm trying to stick to. And I'm more relaxed with it.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think we're all like that, because this is just very different routine for all of us. And it's, you know, you get all this extra time, or you think you get all this extra time. And so you're like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. And you definitely can. But it's just like, you still, just like any routine, you got to get acclimated and see what works and what doesn't work. Because I was the same as you, Kobe. I was looking at my to-do list like, I thought I was supposed to be done with that 2 weeks ago. And then I realized, girl, I had to, like, just put down 3 things I'm going to do today. And that's it. And then, you know, I take them from my big list and put them in for today. What do I need to get done today? And that has helped me. But what I love that you said was that you aren't stressing about it. You're like, well, you know, that's okay.
Yeah, because, no, yeah, because you really can't stress about it and put so much on yourself, because like you were saying, Tiffany, I had and Kobe, like, you know, we come with the expectation with these long to-do list, and then I be looking at it like, this was supposed to be moved on the top of my to-do list 3 days ago, because it ain't got done yet. And so when we do that, it's just like, I feel like this time was given to us by God, and just like we're of course, you are going to have some things you need to do. I'm not saying don't do the things you need to do, but I was listening to this YouTube video, and it was about astrology. But anyways, in the video, it was just basically saying, like, how we can have a tendency to try to fill up our calendars with a big workload, because that's what we're used to, when in actuality, this could be the season where, you know, it's our time to unplug and time to disconnect and things like that. So just being mindful, like you said, Kobe, don't even stress that you didn't get everything done off your to-do list, but, you know, maybe this is just that time where we are supposed to be in recharge mode and, like, relax mode, because most of us on a day-to-day basis, we don't know how to do that, because we constantly have somewhere to be, I-10 by 10, like, just always on the go. So I think it's a good time to, it's like God is forcing us to relax and just rest. So
I was in bed when I say all day Saturday, I was like all day Saturday in this bed. But I woke up like Okay, so what? It's one day. Oh, day of rest.
Right.
No, I had this expectation of, I'm gonna finish, I'm a 5 books, I'm gonna do a book every week, and it's taking me a week to get through one chapter. But I'm just saying, the expectation of all these things, putting these things in one day, or it might take you some activities a little bit longer. Some things might happen faster. So you just have to be okay with the time.
I think that goes with your intuition. We have to listen to our intuition because just like you just said, Kobe, like it takes right now it's taking me, I wanted to have 5 books done or, 1 book every week. And then but like, it's taking a week for a chapter. And that was me last week. Like my coworker was telling me like how she had read like 6 books and did this. And I was like, I feel like I ain't did enough for my life. And so I got inspired. And girl, tell me why in the past 3 days I finished 2 books. And I just got in that moment, that space. But then who's to say in the next 2 days I might get lazy and I probably can't even read a chapter, because I swear y'all, I've been on this 1 book for like since we were still working. So like it was a long ass time, like over a month or 2 months, maybe 3 months. But then I just got into that mode where I was like, when you just get in the mode, when you lock in. And so I was able to finish the book. But before then, and you couldn't pay me, I would try and I read a sentence and be like, yeah, I'm gonna just finish that a little later. So I just think we just have to pay attention what our body wants, what our soul needs right then and there, and then act on that.
I love that you said that because this reminds me of the interview that I had with Shan for Soul Filling Podcast. Because there was something I really wanted to ask her, and I was on vacation. I was in LA, and then I was heading to DC for Howard Homecoming. But at the same time, like my mind was still on work for like soul filling, for like whatever I'm doing. And I was asking her, I'm like, how do you separate the time that you want to work all the time and the time to relax? So, because I was like, I need to relax, I need to explore, but my mind was saying work. And so she was like, well, when your mind is saying work, that's when you need to work. Because there's going to be days like my day was on Saturday where you're just not going to want to do anything. So really optimize that time where you do want to do stuff. So on the days that you don't, you can make up for it. And so that really just reminds me of, do what your body wants. Because if your body want to work, want to be impactful, whether you're on vacation or not, I think like you'll feel better just doing what your soul says to do. But also this time reminds me of, I just saw a clip of E.T., the hip hop preacher. Like I was saying, getting acclimated with your days. We never had this type of time really. This is different, working from home. We're not working at all. So we don't really know how to do the things that we want to do yet. And so there was something, it was such a good clip. He was talking about, we like to fight with each other a lot. We like to fight. Okay. Sorry, I was reading what you put. So we like to fight with each other a lot. And he was just saying like, we just like to fight with people a lot. And he's like, but you don't want to fight with your bad habits. I was like, okay. And so what I'm saying is this is the time to, sure, you might not want to do things, but you still need to fight that bad habit. This is the time to work on adding healthier habits and abolishing those bad habits that we have created. And we just have to, we have the time to do that now. We have the time to wake up early, to work out. And though we might mess up yesterday, we still have today and tomorrow to try again. So
I love that you said that, because remember how I was saying that I read the I didn't say what 2 books I read, but I can't remember which one I read. It's got to be either the 7 highly effective habits of influential people, or I had to go back to one of the classics, y'all. And it really helped, which is The Secret.
I knew you were going to say that.
Girl, I had to. I was like, something about that book. I feel like I'm a whole superwoman again. Like that book just, y'all, I don't know. So it's either out of that book or the highly effective habits. But in the book, it had basically said exactly what you said about building habits. Like we haven't had these days yet before, so we don't really just kind of know how to really like optimize and maximize and make the most of all this free time, if we just being honest. And so in the book, he was basically saying that so he went over to work out with one of his friends, and one of his friends was basically telling him to spot him. And he was on the bench press, and he was like, I look, because he wasn't a guy that was like familiar with the gym. So this is out of his playing field. And so he was spotting his friend that was a gym rat. And so he said the guy began to bench press, and it looked like veins were like bulging out his neck. He looked like he was turning red. He looked like he was just struggling. And he was like, I was thinking, I need to go and rescue him and, get the weight. But his friend was like, no, I'm good. He was like, but clearly he didn't look good. He's like, meanwhile, he's straining and stuff. But he's like, okay. And so he was like, once he finished the rep, his friend was like, I don't think you should do that. He's like, no, because the reason why I need to go through this pain is because the muscle has to tear. And once the muscle tears, it allows those muscle fibers to rebuild itself. And when they rebuild themselves stronger. And so he was like, we need to apply that same process to creating new habits. And so when we are first starting something, it's gonna look like you straining, you about to blow a gasket. It might not look the prettiest, it might be painful. And it's like, but you have to still force yourself to do it, push through it, because it's gonna build a new neural pathway in your brain that's gonna allow that thing to become easier over a period of time. And I think even Kobe, you were talking about building neural pathways on last episode, if I'm not mistaken. So it does work. Like, we have to force ourselves to do something first, and once you force yourself to do it over a period of time, it will then become a positive habit.
It definitely goes back to that growth mindset that we were talking about last week.
Definitely.
But yeah, vibrating higher is just like, I feel like it's such a necessary thing. It's because I personally feel like when I'm vibrating higher, I feel happier. I feel like I'm in alignment. And I feel like I'm attracting everything good. And that is because I'm vibrating higher.
Yes.
If you're vibrating higher, you're going to literally attract other things that are vibrating higher. Like, I feel like the most men want me at that time. I feel like, but when I'm vibrating low, like, I feel like, nobody wants me. I'm never gonna have nobody.
That's true. That you just basically answered my question I was gonna ask. So
you have to recognize those situations where you're baited to go low. It's like Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high. And it's something that you have to be conscious about every day in every situation, because there are going to be situations and moments that bait you in, and where you want to take the shortcut, where you want to go low, but you have to constantly remind yourself to take the high road.
Right. It's that quote that everybody says, it's not what happens, it's how you react to what happens.
Yes.
That really matters. And yes, we are going to have days that we're low because something happens, but it's seeing what is giving us that low vibration, and then also seeing what gives us, a high vibration.
Absolutely.
And so really, it's going to be different for everybody. So you have to pinpoint what those things are for you. Like, I was telling y'all earlier today, like, and everybody knows this if y'all listen to the podcast, me and bad news, I don't like it. Like, constantly, like, I understand now that I can't avoid the truth or what's really happening in the world, but an influx of constant negativity and constant negative news or something like that I don't really need, I know that brings my vibration down. So when someone is saying like sending me links on this person died, this is happening, like give me the facts. I'm good. I don't want to know that the person died. Like I really don't. I understand the
No,
severity,
that's real.
but I don't want to know every little negative thing. And so that's one thing that I know, especially in times like this, gets to that lowers my vibration. And so just identifying those key factors, even being lazy for me, if I'm not working out at least 4 to 3 times a day, I'm like, it makes me feel like I'm lazy. So I know that, okay, let me go work out. It makes me feel better. It raises my vibration. Or if I'm not doing something I need to do, like I know I have these set of goals, then if I'm not working towards doing that, then it brings my vibration down. So to bring my vibration up, I got to edit some videos, stuff like that. And so you have to know your triggers, and you have to know the things that get your vibrations up.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why it's good to have a journal as well, so that you can document, like, okay, you know what, I had a good day today. Why was today so good? Like, what happened today that made this a great day? And then you can emulate that each and every day. You're like, okay, I woke up early, I ate breakfast, I took a shower, hot shower, whatever it is. You have to notify those things and then repeat that, so that you're able to have a good day or vibrate higher each and every day. You do have situations where you are, those bad situations. You can say, okay, you know what makes me feel good? Oh, let me go listen to some music right now. Let me go take that praise break right now. Let me go, call my friend. Let me go call my mom. Yeah. You have to know, like you said, what is going to make you vibrate higher and do those things.
That's good to kind of have a log, a reference guide to go back. And sometimes, one thing may not work, but if you flip it through the pages and you realize, oh, you did like 8 different things, you could just select from your list until you find the one that works for that particular mood in that time and that space that you're going through to keep that vibration high.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes me I want to ask you ladies a question. Just why is it important to keep your vibration high?
Girl,
why? Like,
it's important because you said already, like, your vibrating high is what keeps your dang, I probably say it's something in the definition. Vibrating high is basically you living at your best optimal self, basically. And so why wouldn't you want to do that? We talk about this all the time. We want to be who God wants us to be. And that's our best optimal self, And so when you are vibrating higher, you not only are like helping yourself feel good, other people are going to be like, that she feeling good. Like, I want to be like that. I want to be a light as well. And so it's also just an example of God's goodness in your life. And so, I don't know, vibrating higher, I think just knowing about what that is, because it might seem like everything is going wrong when you're vibrating on a low frequency. And you might be feeling like you're trapped. You're going in a circle and a circle and a circle. But when you know that you have that you can elevate your vibrations, then you're able to take yourself out of that dark place, because things are going to happen. But when you... Sure, you're going to be down sometimes, but you'll know how to pick yourself back up. Even if it does take days and weeks, the little things you could do here and there to lift you up. And I think one of those things is really going back to our first episode, self-love. It's all about knowing, like, for me, when I'm vibrating high, it's because I reminded myself of my self-worth, that I'm valuable. And sometimes we lose that. You know what I mean? And so I'm glad that Kobe brought up church and gospel music, because just listening to a sermon reminds you of like how valuable you are, how God views you. And so, it's not only that, it's like, dang, like you forget sometimes how worthy you are, how valuable you are. And that's why it's important to surround yourself with people who are going to uplift you, listen to sermons that are going to uplift you and remind you of who you are, because you could forget real quick. That's why the Power of Practice podcast is so important, because everything we do, our healthy habits, we have to continually practice these things or we'll forget. I don't want to forget.
Girl.
And then I think vibrating higher leads to happiness. You feel fulfillment and gratitude. And I mean, who doesn't want those things?
Right.
Girl. Yeah. And y'all both hit it nail on the head. Cause it just, when I'm going back to the definition of Vibrate Higher, the one you were referencing to, it was basically saying to strive to be the best, coming from a place of self-love, like you said, compassion and the excitement for life. And I love how it puts self-love and not just love. Because I was like, ooh, that's deep. Like it, because normally sometimes we do things because we know somebody else loves it and it's not even what you love. And so coming from that place of self-love, and not only when you vibrate higher, like Kobe said, you get in a life filled with joy and just a life of abundance. It's like whenever you're vibrating high, you're putting out those frequencies of love, gratitude, and you're you're emitting off this frequency. And whenever you're emitting this frequency, because you are at a higher vibration, you're going to attract events, you're going to attract people, you'll attract things, you will attract money, if that's what it is, that's on that same vibration. So think about if you're at a low vibration, you will attract people, still you'll attract things, you'll attract money that's on a lower vibration. So when you are vibrating high, of course, the people, things, and wealth that you'll attract, it'll be in divine alignment. And I think that's what we essentially want. It's like, I remember when me and my friends were talking, and she was like, man, I attracted this guy, but I know I was vibrating low, like I was at a low frequency in my life, so it was bound not to work. And so it's like, wow, when you think about it that way, like you want to vibrate high, because the things, people, and everything that you attract in your life, it'll be coming from a good place, from a good frequency.
Whoa, ain't that a good way to weed out the bad ones? Girl, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about it like that. Who you attracting on your low frequency and who you attracting on your high frequency? Think about that. That's what you need a journal. Sure.
Girl.
I'm feeling good today and homie came strolling in like.
I just know.
Oh, that's good.
No, that's real, because I did a YouTube video, guys. I did a YouTube video I haven't done in a year. And it was it was inspired by our last podcast. And it was just basically how to fall in love with yourself again. And one of the things was just like, I was so inspired because self-love and self-worth tied in so vigorously, because not only when you're vibrating higher that you attract like goodness, it also reminds you that you don't accept no BS, because like it makes you not settle. Can I tell you that? Because when you're vibrating higher, you can't even look low, because you're like, I will not settle for no disrespect. Like I will not settle for like nothing. Like because you know your worth. And so one of my tips was like, what was the tip? It was basically just saying, it wasn't saying don't settle. Oh, it was don't take no, SHIT. And it's just real, because when you don't allow people to treat you wrong, what I said was, if you don't allow, how do you expect you to treat you right if you're allowing other people to treat you wrong? How are you supposed to value yourself if you're allowing other people not to value you? And so that was just it. I just feel like when you're vibrating higher, you're allowing yourself to not put up with craziness.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you said that, because it made me think about the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. When I was reading that book, I know specifically it was in this book because he was saying a highly effective person uses whenever you're going through life and you're making, when he was saying, when you're making decisions, a highly effective decision and highly effective choices, you want to use choices that are a win-win. And I feel like we always talk about the same thing. And we've talked, and Kobe, I feel like Kobe said this in the past. You want to make sure it's a win-win. I feel like I'm that one kid in class that went paying attention and then they say that. And then they come back and say the same thing. No, but seriously, you want to make it a win-win. And what he said, and it stuck out to me so, it was just like an aha moment, because he was like, you want to make it a win-win and you don't want to settle, but how do you determine whether it's a win-win? Like, is it, most times we always think about come to a compromise and come to a place where, we're both happy. And he was saying, you want to make sure you come to a place where you're both happy, but you want to make sure it's also a place where y'all both are benefiting at the same time. And so he was like, how can you evaluate whether or not you are personally going to benefit? Because he was saying what most people end up doing, they'll take the short end of the stick without even realizing that they're doing so. And so, of course, he said, you don't want to have, you don't want to put out anything where you're not using integrity and you're ripping someone off, or you're not upholding the bargain. You don't want them to be displeased, and at the same time, you don't want you to like just settle for something and you didn't invest either your hard-earned time or money or whatever the case may be. So he was saying, how do you figure out if it's a win-win? So, girl, why is self-love the antidote for everything? He was like, you have to make the decision out of self-love. Think about things that genuinely you love. If it's something that you genuinely love and you feel passionately and wholeheartedly about, then you're making a good decision. If it's something that you don't love, and let's say, he gave an example, he was like, it was his friend, and it was like, let's say it was like a horse racing idea. I think that's what it was. And he was like, he opened the question with the statement like, I know you have no interest for horse racing, but would you still like to support it just because I'm your friend, basically? So he's like already letting him know, like, I know this ain't got nothing to do with your value or your goals, but so to speak. So it's like, think about whenever someone presents you with something, and if it's not genuinely something that you feel fulfilled, and you can always tell when you feel fulfilled because you'll have emotions of like joy, you'll have emotions of like, good feeling, like, you just had a good time, like it'll just feel like a good time. So basically, don't get caught up in, and this is what I love that he said, he was like, if you don't feel like the decision is coming from a place of self-love, then just walk away. Walk away from like, thank you, but I think we shouldn't do business together. Like, you like just like, okay, you had some good ideas, I had some good ideas, but I don't feel like you're going to benefit from this project. I don't feel like I would benefit greatly from this project. So we're just going to, walk away, and you go present your ideas to someone else. I was like, dang, why was that so real?
That's so good. I'm glad you said that, because it's also making you realize what you really want. I know I said this before, but it just happened.
And then, y'all, and that's the thing. Every time we feel like we lost, we're about to lose majorly, or we about to lose out on something, God is showing you that courage that it took to walk away from the deal that didn't serve you genuinely, thoroughly, inside, outside. God's gonna send you a pick, abundance. You ain't even gonna be able to choose. Like,
girl. So I'm just like, so what I'm saying is, also what I was talking about when I'm talking about intuition is just, there's just some things for sure, and trusting that thing that God has put into your heart. And so now I'm no longer worried about whoever, I might, this is something we could talk about offline, but like, I'm not worried about whoever, but I know whoever God puts in my life, it's going to be great and it's going to be magical. And so I'm so trusting on what God has for me and what my body, my soul is telling me, that love is coming and I'm going to be ready for it. And
yes.
it is what it is. But since I'm not worrying anymore, it just attracts everything.
It just attracts everything.
Yes.
It attracts what you want because you're not putting out that fear that you can't have it. And you're also not settling for something that's less than what you deserve.
Mm. That's real.
Yeah.
Somebody needed to hear that.
Girl, I'm just realizing it now. I'm like, okay. But so
no, you said it before. I mean, that's one of the top areas, like where we have lack, is in love. Because when when you're in lack, you're gonna accept. You're not looking for a specific person. You're just ready to accept whoever is going to give you the time and day, because you're just like, I just want love. I just want somebody to show me attention. I just want somebody to answer my phone calls. I just want somebody to text me and tell me, I want you. Versus you're seeking out,
quality.
Yes. Quality, true love.
Yeah. We get so caught up in the image of just having a person.
Exactly.
But that's not what you want. You want the person to love you, to be good to you, to adore you. You know what I mean? And so we've been over this, but it's finally getting through my head. So
sometimes we just got to go through those experiences until we live it, and then it really sticks.
Right. And I'm not saying like whoever you're thinking about in your head isn't the person. It's just saying that you ain't putting up with a bullshit version of that person.
Yeah.
Guys,
I'm so happy you brought up 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, because it talked about exactly what we're talking about right now, just that lack and abundance. But they called it the scarcity mentality.
You're right.
And it says most people are deeply scripted in what I call the scarcity mentality. They see life as having only so much, as though they were only one pie out there. And if someone were to get a big piece of the pie, it would mean less for everybody else. And he called it a zero-sum paradigm of life. People with a scarcity mentality have a very difficult time sharing recognition and credit, power, or profit.
That's good.
That's
good.
That's real.
And I could say that I've been one. I would say there have been flickers of moments where I definitely had scarcity mentality, thinking if someone else does this for some reason, has an effect on me. But really, we talked about this before, it's just a reflection of your own insecurity. And so you have to combat these things when these low vibration scenarios or emotions come into place. You have to know how to combat them with a higher vibration. Like, you have to remind yourself, like, oh, there's room for us all in this game. Like, what's for me is what is for me. That person has nothing to do with what God has for me. Matter of fact, like we said when we were talking about jealousy one day, we have to praise that person or just completely not look at what that person is doing, So whatever works for you to keep your vibration up. But you definitely need to combat that. And I'm glad that, Jasmine, you brought up integrity, because how can you have a high vibration if you're doing grimy things? And so I know people who have like a very hustle mentality, and it's good, grind, do what you want. But you have to make sure with that grind that there's integrity involved in that. I'm watching Ozarks right now. And if y'all know about Ozarks, it's basically, these people are good people, but they're working for a grimy business.
Yeah.
And so they're forced into a low vibration. So bad things keep happening to them.
They want to do it so bad that they keep getting sucked in.
They want to be good so bad, and they can't get out at this point. I mean, I'm only on the second season, but what I'm saying is, like, when you do good for other people, or you're doing something that's good for others, or from like a positive light, then with integrity, then your vibration is going to be high. But when you start to lack integrity, your vibration is going to be low, not only for you, but other people are going to see that. People can see when you lack integrity, when you're doing some slimy things. You might think that you're getting away with it, that you're or doing whatever, but people see that, and there's consequences to that. There's low vibration consequences for that. So I'm just saying, having integrity is a huge one of hiring your vibration. Just imagine, like, when you know you're good in something, like, you know you've been doing good at your job, you know you've been doing good in a relationship, you know you've been doing good eating healthy, whatever it is, you feel good because you have, like, integrity. But when you doing some grimy stuff, you're gonna attract that. Always.
And it makes sense to the company that you keep. Your vibe attracts your tribe. So come on, like you said with the Ozarks, because he is with this, hanging with these or working for these bad people, he's attracting more bad people in more bad situations.
Right. Exactly. Wow, that's deep. Dang, Ozark, I've been watching that thing for. I'm like, I need to start watching this, but I just let me just finish it real quick.
And that just made me think about, going into the difference between not getting caught up in some of the low vibrational things that are out there. But just being able to identify, like, what are some of those lower vibrational things. If you find yourself in an activity where it's causing you to feel fear or sadness, jealousy, worry, anger, anxiety, these are all lower vibrational emotions. So the moment you feel like one of these emotions creep in, do your best to, like, combat it with a higher vibrational activity. And so what are some higher vibrational activities? Things like dancing, singing, listening to music, hanging out with your friends, anything that makes you feel happy, getting your nails done, getting a massage, watching a game, like things that make you just it's like any dopamine producing activity will put you at a higher vibration.
I love that. And just changing your mindset. And if y'all need to know how to do that, just go back to our other episode, Fixed Mindset versus Growth Mindset, because we talk about that a lot. Because your mindset has a lot to do with how your life is, what you believe, and things like that. So I don't want to regurgitate what we already said. So just listen to that one too, if you haven't already done it. So
what time is it?
It's affirmation time.
It's affirmation. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, it's all off. It's delayed. Okay. What time is it, y'all? It's affirmation time. It's affirmation time. It's affirmation time. So, y'all, if this is your first time tuning in on the Soul Filling Podcast, we always end our podcast with a positive affirmation. So what the heck is an affirmation? An affirmation is any statement that you are using to transform your life. Even in the Bible, it states that there is death and life in the power of the tongue. So are you speaking life over your life, or are you speaking negativity and death over your life? We're just going to affirm that you speak in positive, uplifting, just prosperous affirmations. I'm affirming that it is 1 trillion of y'all, 1 million of y'all, a gazillion of y'all out there tuned in, and it's 3 of us, and we're going to go ahead and end this thing off with our positive affirmation. So who wants to go first?
I am vibrating high.
Well, this is a good one. Yeah, I am vibrating high. That's mine too.
I am both a work in progress and helping others to be the best that they can be.
Yes. All right, guys, make sure y'all share this. Make sure if you're watching us on YouTube that you subscribe, write a comment, say your affirmation. We want to hear them or read them. And hey, like, follow us on social media, Soul Feeling Podcast everywhere. And if you are listening to us on Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star rating and write something soulful and sweet. So happy quarantining.
We love you all. Until next time, soulmates. Bye.